Hi everyone, Tom was here, back at it with a video I never honestly expected to make because it's something I never honestly expected would happen. Breaking news on an Oscar Sunday night, very late at night. I shouldn't be making a video this late. I'm disheveled. I'm, what are you gonna do? But this just into the TomWasHere sports department. According to Adam Schefter, Russell Wilson has signed a one-year deal with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, there's a lot to unpack from this, and we're going to get into it. We're going to get into kind of what happens from here, whether it's a good or bad thing. There's a lot to break down when it comes to this. So let's get into it. Russell Wilson is officially a Pittsburgh Steeler, and man, oh man, if you woke someone out of a coma, a Steeler fan, and they asked, well, future boy, who is the quarterback of the Steelers in 2024? They would have a similar reaction as Doc Brown when Marty McFly told him that Ronald Reagan was the president of the United States. They're like, Russell Wilson, the Seahawk? No, this has actually happened. I'm still trying to wrap my head around it. So let's get into it. Russell Wilson, officially a Pittsburgh Steeler. Lots to break down on Tom Was Here.
Hey guys, it's Blake Henson.
Angelo Spagnolo.
Dorn Dickerson.
This is Donnie Football from 93.7 The Fan.
And I'm KDKA meteorologist Mary Hours, and you're watching
Tom was here.
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 Like a true professional. That's incredible. Hey, news broke down from Adam Schefter that Russell Wilson is a Pittsburgh Steeler, and there's a lot to unpack from that. One, trying to get over that Russell Wilson is a dork, because he's our dork now. He's our dork. Don't believe me? Do you remember Mr. Unlimited? Let me remind you of that.
Hey guys, Russell here. Yes, the typical boring, yes, Russell, the robot, one you guys love to know. Real exciting. I'm real exciting. But anyways, everybody has to have an alter ego, right? And I've been thinking about what my alter ego would be, and I think I have an alter ego. His name's Mr. Unlimited. You gotta be unlimited. You gotta have a thought process of being unlimited. So when people ask you, what you're thinking about or what you want to do in life or where you want to go, you gotta be unlimited. Tell them, I'm unlimited. You know what I mean? So when they ask you certain questions like,
who brings you motivation, Russell?
Mr. Unlimited.
Who's your role model, Russell?
Unlimited.
Unlimited, Mr. Unlimited. Yeah, he's a dork. But he is our dork now, so therefore we cannot knock him for his dorkishness. There's going to be more dorky things that he will do at a later date. Who knows how many dorky things he'll do with the Steelers. He only did sign a one-year deal. Now, the good news out of this is he signed a one-year deal for the veteran minimum. That's what's being reported currently. This can change by the time this video goes out. I'm recording it late Sunday night when this happened. I will try to get this video out Monday afternoon to evening. But currently he had signed for the vet minimum. And if that's the case, and he signed for the vet minimum because Denver's paying him about $40 million currently this year. So the rumor was you were going to get Russell Wilson to sign for the vet minimum. If that is something he actually did, this is a no-risk, potentially high-reward situation for the Pittsburgh Steelers. There is no risk involved here. When they were flirting with the Justin Fields type deal, you would have had to trade draft picks, and you would have had to pick up Justin Fields' rookie contract, which he was a mid-first-round pick to the tune of probably $10 plus million. If you're signing Russell Wilson at 1.2, that's lower than you're paying Kenny Pickett this year. So if that's the case, a lowest of low risk situation for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So in that part, it's undeniable that it's a solid move. But there is the specter of Kenny Pickett and what you're going to do with him. Because when Omar Khan said this,
I have full faith in Kenny. He's shown us some good things, and obviously there were some issues with the offense, and I'm excited about the impact that Arthur Smith's going to have on him. And Arthur's very optimistic about Kenny, and I know they've communicated, and like I said, we'll have some strong competition there and we'll see where it goes. Feel really good about him.
We know the great philosopher Chris Rock said this.
A man is basically as faithful as his options.
And to the Pittsburgh Steelers, they're only as faithful as their options, because the Pittsburgh Steelers, you have to look back all the way to 2 years ago when they handed Mason Rudolph the keys and they're like, you're the guy. And then immediately in the first day of free agency, they they then signed Mitch Trubisky and they said, Mitch, you're the guy. And then immediately 2 months later drafted Kenny Pickett. They're only as faithful as their options. And in this circumstance, Russell Wilson, is a Super Bowl winning quarterback, and that's undeniable. Now, you can look at the last 3 years, struggles in his last year in Seattle, struggles for sure in Denver. The question is, what version of Russell Wilson are you getting, and where does that leave Kenny Pickett currently? Because my guess is Kenny Pickett is very unhappy right now, as he should be. But at the same time, it wasn't like Kenny Pickett wasn't given opportunities to win this job, to secure the franchise quarterback. The part of the problem is that he's only shown flashes. Now, is he a victim of Matt Canada's terrible offensive system? Perhaps. Could he have thrived under Arthur Smith's new system, which we haven't seen yet? Maybe. We don't know that. And depending on how things shake out, we may never know that. We also know probably that Mason Rudolph won't be returning because of this. Apparently there was some meeting that took place earlier today. This is Sunday night, before the official legal tampering that's going to occur tomorrow. So this is the 10th, 11th? I think the official legal tampering's tomorrow. Free agency opens up on Tuesday the 12th. That could be a day off, to be honest. It's late at night. What we know is Mason Rudolph's probably gone. And we don't know what he would have been in Arthur Smith's system. And we cannot sit by and go like, oh, we lost an opportunity with Mason Rudolph, a dude that, showed great play. He did what he was supposed to do, what Pickett was supposed to do, for 3 games. But Mason Rudolph had 5+ years in the system to take the keys, and he did not. Now, you could say, oh, the Steelers made a mistake not getting someone to replace Ben earlier, and you may be right. You may be saying that Mason Rudolph didn't get a fair shake in those 5 seasons, and you may be right. You may say Kenny Pickett's currently not getting a fair shake because he was injured, and, he showed flashes, and he has the chance to it, and you may be right. But one thing I can tell you is this. Russell Wilson, he is not signing anywhere that he's not either been offered the ability to start or is basically told, that you're starting. There's been talk of potentially competing with Kenny. There's been talk of something where he was going to be looked at as the backup to Kenny. I'm not buying any of those things when it comes to Russell Wilson. I honestly think he was told he's getting the keys. And, once again, Omar Khan said at the Combine less than 2 weeks ago,
I have full faith in Kenny.
And clearly, they did not. But at the same time, this is a unique situation. Normal quarterbacks who have the pedigree of a Russell Wilson do not come to a team for the veteran minimum, even on a 1-year deal. Rarely anybody signed for the minimum. And they have that unique benefit because Denver paid him the farm. Paid him $40 million he'll make this season from Denver. 1.2 from us. So it's there's no reason why the Steelers shouldn't have made this move to bolster their QB room. But what do they do now? Because mock drafts, and a lot of people say mock drafts are completely stupid. They don't, it's just a kind of a time filler in the off season to kind of be like, oh, here's what your team's going to do. But really stupid mock drafts for me, what I totally agree that mock drafts are stupid before free agency for this very reason. Because people had mocked Bo Nix, they had mocked Penix, they had mocked all these different quarterbacks to the Steelers. And now currently, there could be a chance they draft a QB because Russell's on a 1-year deal and Kenny's kind of on the outs at the moment. we don't know what the situation with Kenny will be. But we do know this, they're probably not drafting a quarterback in the first round like some of these mock drafts have shown, because they don't need to at the moment. Because they have Kenny, they have Russ, they're going to add another quarterback via a late round draft pick or via a mid-round draft pick, but not a first-round draft pick. I'd be shocked if they did, because otherwise you're kind of tanking this year because you want someone that will come in and contribute, like a tackle. You have a gap in your own line yet again. You need a tackle to fill that gap. So, it's going to be very interesting. This whole free agency now takes a completely different turn. Do they sign a center? Do they draft a center? Do they sign a tackle? Do they draft a tackle? Do they trade for L'Jarius Sneed now that they have a quarterback signed for the veteran minimum? What do they spend? Do they add one of these safeties from a robust safety class? We'll know this week kind of what the Steelers' plan is. I think when Omar Khan said they have full faith in Kenny Pickett, that he was being sincere in that moment. Meaning that they were happy to sit there idly by, have Pickett, sign Mason, and be fine. I don't think they maybe expected Russell Wilson to come as cheap as he did. I don't think they expected maybe Russell Wilson to have the interest that he did coming to Pittsburgh. So I think there's that situation where kind of everything hit right at the same time, that he had a meeting with the Giants before he came to Pittsburgh on Friday. It was Friday when he did this. And he met with the Giants, for a little while. Met with the Steelers, according to Adam Schefter, for 6 hours. You don't meet with them in 6 hours for a job interview where you're just like flirting with the job. I'm surprised he didn't leave with a contract then. So kudos to the Steelers in this regard, because regardless of Russell Wilson, regardless of your thoughts on Russell Wilson, regardless of whether you think Russell Wilson's washed at this point, Russell Wilson last year had 26 touchdowns to 8 interceptions. Do you know that the Pittsburgh Steelers in the past 2 seasons had 24 passing touchdowns? The past 2 seasons. Russell Wilson had 26 last season. He is a different type of quarterback than what the Steelers have. And I've always said that the Pittsburgh Steelers do not need the best quarterback in the league to be competitive. They need someone capable. Someone, if they're even average, the difference in wins, more than a few. Because keep in mind, the defense is great at getting turnovers at appropriate times. The defense has done this for a while. They're not the world beater defense. They're not the number 1 defense in the league. They do get destroyed against the run a good bit. And they get passed on a good bit. But we know now, with an aging veteran like Peterson, which I really wanted Peterson to work out, but, sadly, he's 34 at this point. They were paying him $6 million. I understand why they cut him. But you're telling me, if you have the ability to shore up this defense, to shore up the offensive line, and with the weapons that the Steelers have, that Russell Wilson, who threw 26 touchdowns last season as a member of the Denver offense, which Denver did not have the same level team that the Pittsburgh Steelers offense is currently. Their main thing was they had a quarterback that was not getting the receivers the ball when they needed it. A quarterback that was spinning out at first sign of danger. Don't get me wrong, Russell Wilson may do that, but Russell Wilson has more of affinity to do it and will sometimes stay in the pocket to throw a pass if need be. Unfortunately, Kenny Pickett has not shown that aspect of his game. So what does this mean for Pickett moving forward? A lot of people are like, oh, trade him. Well, what we know from earlier today is that Mac Jones got traded for a 6th-round pick. He was a 1st-round pick just a couple years ago. In fact, that draft class looks absolutely terrible. Highly touted. Who came out of that draft class? Trevor Lawrence? 1st overall pick? Mediocre, to be honest with you. Next pick was Trey Lance. Already been traded to Dallas for a 4th-round pick. He was the 3rd overall pick a few years ago. Next pick, Zach Wilson. Gonna get cut this year. Who knows who will sign on to? Next pick after that, Justin Fields. Gonna get traded. Who knows who he's getting traded to at this point? Apparently, based on the numbers between Mac Jones and Fields, Mac Jones has better numbers. Mac Jones is a Pro Bowl. That means Justin Fields, who at one point was being ballyhooed around being traded for a first pick, then it was like, oh, he won't be traded for a first pick because the market's soft. It'll be a 2nd or a 3rd. Now maybe looking closer to a 6th based on Mac Jones. Not great. The GM of Chicago kind of may have dropped the ball there by sitting around too long. Who knows whether the Steelers had an offer into them? We may never know. And there's not too many jobs out there left that might take on a Justin Fields. For those wondering if he'll end up in Atlanta, that might be Kirk Cousins territory. Minnesota, they're not going to trade him in division. I don't think Chicago would do that, especially if he starts tearing it up. Seattle maybe is an off chance. The Giants, the Patriots, that's about it. A lot of quarterbacks to go around, let alone the people that are going to be drafting quarterbacks high in this current draft. So the Pittsburgh Steelers signing Russell Wilson here to a low minimum for a 1-year deal, knowing that they may have to go back to the well this time around next year. Or maybe they hope that Russell Wilson will teach a little veteran presence to Kenny, and Kenny can ride the bench and see a Super Bowl winning quarterback at the helm, and maybe that's what he needs to, the kick in the ass that he needs to then, turn his career around. Or Russ is gone after next season, Kenny's gone after next season. You really got to go to the well. And you draft a high quarterback. Who knows based on how the season goes? Maybe the season goes well, maybe they sign Russ long term. Maybe Kenny gets traded. Well, I don't know what he'll get traded for, considering he is, doesn't really have the stats compared to even Fields or Mac Jones. And, Mac Jones went for a 6th. It's concerning. So you're not probably going to get trade market value for a Kenny Pickett, if you trade him currently. It's a problem. So you got to keep him around, hope he can learn the ropes. Will he be disgruntled? Yes. Remember, this is the guy, you want to have a soft spot for Kenny Pickett, but this is the guy when Mason Rudolph took the helm and they asked Kenny Pickett what he learned watching Mason out there. He said nothing. It's not what you want in your quarterback. Your quarterback is supposed to take that in stride. He's supposed to say, I'd love to be out there with my teammates. Of course I learned, watching Mason on there. But obviously, I want the keys. I want the helmet. I want the one to be out there making decisions. But I want to do what's best for the team. But instead, when he was given that opportunity of what he learned with Mason out there, he said nothing. I'll be honest, that turned me against Kenny a little bit for that. Because that is not the answer you want. He didn't elaborate on it either. He's very upset, a little disgruntled, and I can understand. But if you stand back from it, Kenny won't understand, but other people will. The low-risk, high-reward signing of Russell Wilson for $1.2 million, regardless of how it turns out, is the right call. Because you have to see what... you had to shore up the QB room. You have to give the team the opportunity, the best chance to win. And when you have a 9-time Pro Bowler, former Super Bowl champion, somebody who just a few years ago was traded for multiple first-round picks. You can call that a mistake now, and rightfully so. Hindsight is 20/20. But that type of player is coming in on a veteran minimum deal to giving you all the money you can to sign as much talent on both sides of the ball as you can to give your team the best chance to win. This is something you have to do. Even though he's Mr. Unlimited. Oh, God. That won't get any, that part won't get any better. But I'm curious to see what he's got left in the tank. He's 35. He wants a gold jacket. He's not necessarily as far away from a gold jacket as what everybody else is saying. Dude already has a Super Bowl under his belt. He is a 9-time Pro Bowler. He has these things. Yes, the last few years have been ugh, but even those last few years of ugh for the Steelers would have been dynamite quarterback play because we've been mired in misery offensively. The Steelers' offense the last few years has been horrific. And I don't want to get a little Katie Britt on you. I don't want to say that the Steelers are so bad. But they are so bad offensively the last few years. Sorry, that's current events for you. In a year, you won't even know what that is. But you might know now. But it's been so bad the last few years watching a Matt Canada offense and Kenny Pickett rolling out every time there's something. He always rolls one way. He only rolls one way and rolls right into a sack. Shoddy offensive line play, underachieving receivers, missed opportunities to, score touchdowns. Then you have Mason Rudolph come in at the end of the year and show average quarterback play and what that can do for a team. Carried him in the playoffs with average quarterback play. So if Russell Wilson has the ability or the chance to give you above average quarterback play where the offense can actually get wins and the defense can do what it does and get the turnovers as needed to give Russ the ball, if we have a capable punter that can give solid field position and not some meddling 20-yard punt, if they can shore up these problems, maybe, just maybe, the Steelers might actually win a playoff game, dare I say it. But of course, it's the offseason. Free agency is this week. This is the time, as a football fan, to be delusional. And that's why I love it so much. Because right now, everybody, it's Christmas for the NFL. Because last season's in the past. You're not thinking about Patrick Mahomes winning another one. You're thinking about what could your team potentially do? And I've always said, and I'll hammer it home yet again, that the Pittsburgh Steelers can win with average quarterback play. And I think at worst, Russell Wilson can give you average quarterback play. But there's a chance, maybe a chance, that he can give you above average quarterback play. And if he can do that for the tune of $1.2 million with free agent spending, could it be another Omar Khan Christmas where he starts spending money left and right with a much improved free agent class this year than last year? I think so. That may be a bold statement, but I honestly think there's more available talent this year than there was last year. It'll be very interesting. But you have been talking for a little while. Let me know your thoughts on Russell Wilson to the Steelers. Do you like it? Do you not like it? I would love to know your thoughts in the comments down below. But guys, thanks so much for watching. Before I get into my little spiel, I have to mention that for 2 years now, 2+ years, might even be longer, John Bailey was my exclusive and only Patreon supporter. And over this past weekend, I tripled that amount. I now have 3 Patreon supporters, and I can't thank you enough. So please first of all, a big thank you to Brett Persing of Unlock the Adventure Escape Experience. I met Brett up at his escape room in Titusville, an incredible place if you're in the area to go check out. He has joined the $5 sticker tier. Thank you very much, sir. I greatly appreciate it. And also, Faye from Jersey City, New Jersey, outside of the state of Pennsylvania. Now I have one from the tri-state area because I think John is in New York, Brett's in Pennsylvania, and Faye's in New Jersey. Thank you so much. Recent find, I think, to my page. You started only commenting only a few weeks ago, and I greatly appreciate that you've added yourself to the $10 mystery item tier. Thank you so much, everyone. John, Brett, and Faye, for supporting me on Patreon. It means more than you could ever know. Every dollar of this channel that I get from Patreon goes into the channel. It's in one way or another. Sometimes it's into mystery boxes or to get admission for an event. I always put the money in there, so I can't thank you enough for supporting me in that. Guys, thanks so much for watching. If you are new here, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. If you'd like to support me on Patreon like John Bailey, Brett Persing, and Faye does, you can do so. Link is in the description below. If you'd like to buy a t-shirt, a TomWasHere t-shirt, you can do so at Spreadshirt, as well as links to my eBay store, Facebook page, Instagram, TikTok, and the Pennsylvania Autograph Collectors Association. Links are in the description below. Russell Wilson is a Pittsburgh Steeler. I don't even know what to think at the moment. It's going to be a very interesting Steelers season. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Guys, thanks so much for watching. And until the next video, I will see you soon. But until then, bye everyone.